The other thing that he was mentioning kind of at the beginning, and we've heard this from a couple different people, is he wanted to get into management consulting, and then for whatever reason it didn't work out, so he decided to do a startup instead. Did you think at all about management consulting, like at any point in time during the MBA program, or was that not really on your radar?
For a hot second. And most of it happened around bar preparation. Getting ready for the bar. Like you think about like, man, I can take this job that is in terms of compensation is on par with like big law, which is like what you try to get out coming out of U Chicago. Um, and you don't have to worry about taking this like prerequisite test. Huh. Maybe I should do some like consulting as opposed to like being an attorney. But I think at the end of the day, I was more comfortable. I think I was more attracted to law um, and learning what startups kind of like need from an attorney or need from a counselor, and being able to use that knowledge for our startup than going out into the consulting world. So I think that's kind of why I decided. And then I felt like I was in too deep. That's another reason. I was not pot committed, but I had a lot of uh, I had a lot leaning me towards a career, or at least an initial career in law. Um, but yeah, there was a time that I thought about it, especially as some of our other like JD MBA cohort were like choosing consulting or something that was consulting adjacent as opposed to going down the legal route. What about
Yeah,
you? Well,
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I did it in after undergrad, and the reason I got interested in it was, at first I was interested in finance. I wanted to be a banker and then do private equity or hedge funds. And then kind of the further and further I got into finance, at least like the coursework, is like you see a very specific side of the business and you see business through a very specific lens, but it's not necessarily strategic in the way that kind of like startups are, or operating a business is. And that I realized that kind of like building companies, helping them go from basically an idea to an established business, or um, focusing on building out new business units, things like that. That kind of stuff was way more interesting to me, and a good way to build this a skill set that will allow you to do that is to go into consulting. So that's how I got more interested in consulting, and I think it also, like, there's a lot of transferable skills that help with entrepreneurship from management consulting, but I'm sure that's the case with a lot of different professional services.
yeah, I'd imagine that you can kind of get something out of any kind of like career path that's useful or that's transferable to the startup entrepreneurship world.